Welcome back, guys and girls. Today I will be doing CyberPunk 2077, and I will be working on the car from CyberPunk. Okay. Now this particular car is from one of the gangs in the game. One of the, I believe it's from one of the. I forgot what the gang is called. But I think the gang is like the Nomad. Like I know that if you become a Nomad in the game, you see one of these cars in the game, in that particular area, in the outskirts or the badlands of the world of Cyberpunk. And I thought that the design of this particular uh, gang car was very interesting, and it kind of looks like a cross between a Dodge Charger and a maybe a Mustang, like a Shelby Mustang. I don't know. The back kind of looks like a Shelby Mustang, but the front looks kind of like a Dodge Charger. I don't know, like maybe a futuristic version of it. And I'm drawing this particular drawing, as you can see, I already plot out the perspective of this drawing. It's sort of like a 2-point perspective. So the vanishing point is going this way. If you can see that, the vanishing point is going that way, uh, off the screen. So off the camera, you can't see the vanishing point. But if you visualize it, you can pretty much plot it out and figure out the perspective once you keep it simple. So again, I started off. Let me just switch this track real quick. Okay, where are my tracks? I swear it was this. Was it this one? It was not that one. Okay, so any one of these will do. I guess I could use that. Alright, so again, I started off with a simple cube. So let's say this is the car right here. And sort of like that. So it's going in like a 2-point perspective, just like that. This is the plane right here, and then the vanishing point goes off the screen like that. So that is the basic idea of how I plot how and where the car is going to go in the composition. So that's the basic shape that I plot in for this particular drawing. So now I'm just going to finish off this sketch, and once I'm done with this sketch, I'll start the coloring process. Okay, so now here I'm just finishing off the plane, like that. Some of the gravel that's going to be on the floor. I just want to show that it's going to be a little bit light, but just give a little bit more illusion or depth that this car is sitting on the ground pretty much. And if it's hard to see, let me bring this light back a little bit. If that's easier to see what I'm doing. So again, back here, I'm just going to create another rock here, just like that. Okay, that'll break up the plane a little bit. Okay, that's good enough. So now I'm just doing a little bit of not too much shading, but just where I know the harder lines are going to be in terms of line weight of this particular drawing. Now I kind of wanted this to be sort of like a concept drawing, so I don't know how much detail I want this cyberpunk car to be. You know, so I might not put, in terms of the shading, I might not put too much detail in the shading. But I sort of wanted it to be stylized in sort of like a graffiti in a way, but like still concept. You know, I wanted to keep it concept. So stylized concept graffiti. Guys, if you're just joining me, I am drawing CyberPunk 2077, and I am drawing one of the faction gang cars that's going to be in the game. Let me switch this to gaming. Game title 2077. And I decided to do this because, for one, I like all the car designs that's in the game. It just reminds me of I don't know, it just, like, if you ever played the not Fast and Furious, but Need for Speed Underground, like some of the designs remind me of a futuristic version of those particular cars. All right, so now, guys, I will be starting off the line weight drawing, the inking process. So I'm going to use my micron pens, and I'm going to start off really light and then get really dark. But I kind of want this to be sort of like a sketch, so sorry about that. Right now, I am just doing a little research on some concept art. Okay. So now I'm gonna start from the bottom up. A lot of the shadows are at the bottom of the car, so I'm going to start light at the bottom and get dark at the bottom. Guys, if you're excited for the game that's coming out next month, please let me know what exactly are you excited about that particular game this coming November. These wheels were a challenge. These particular wheels, because since it's rotating, the wheels are not a perfect circle, so they kind of, I don't know the word, but not ovulate, but not ovulate, but they sort of turn oval in a way instead of a circle. So it was really hard to convey that here without making it look wonky. The best thing I could do is like that. And then to have the sort of have like graffiti on the tires. Alright, so sorry about the ambulance where I'm in New York, so it's a lot of stuff going around here. So you will hear that in the background. Alright. So again, the tires. These shapes right here for the tires are sort of overlapping. So that's how I'm going to get the illusion of 3 dimensions with this tire. And this is going to be one of those things where you don't have to, you don't necessarily have to finish the line, because the viewer's eye is going to finish the line for you. So I could draw half a line right here and then draw the rest of this over here, and then the viewer's eye is going to finish the line for me. So this doesn't have to be symmetrical and perfect like these tires right here, the treads. Right now I don't have my live comic section open. Guys, if you're just joining me, I am doing one of the cars from CyberPunk 2077, and it's one of the cars that's in the Badlands. I don't know if it's called the Badlands, but it's sort of like the outskirts of it's sort of the outskirts. Make sure I mute all of this. Say hi. Okay. Sorry about that. I was just checking on YouTube. So now I'm gonna finish these treads. Now for this side, you can't really see much of the treads, but what I'm going to do is just draw like these clumps going on the bottom, like that, just like that. The one of the main things that I'm looking forward to with this particular with the game is the, I don't know, the choices that they claim that you have. If it's anything like The Witcher, it should have a lot of choices, and I like the fact that each choice have a, a really big impact on how the story unfolds in the game. So I'm pretty looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that pretty much. Hello, Twisted. Uh, hello, Twisted Pencil. If you just joined me, as you can see in the title, I am drawing one of the many gang cars that you see in the game of Cyberpunk 2077. And I chose this particular car because um, I don't know. I like the design. It reminds me of a Charger, a Dodge Charger, or a Camaro, or a Shelby Mustang. It looks like a combination of those three cars, but like very futuristic, post-apocalyptic type of design. But like you could tell that they got the inspiration from those type of cars, like an American muscle car. So right now I'm just doing the basic outline of this drawing. I'm going for like a concept art, very messy. Well, it will get messy after this. But right now I'm just taking it slow to just get the line weight down. And when I have the line weight down, then I'll have freedom to not be as neat. Cause then I can put my style into it. Guys, if you just joined me, I am drawing one of the cars from Cyberpunk 2077. In terms of the roles that I'm gonna choose when I play the game, I think I'm gonna go with Street Kid or Corporate. I don't know, those particular roles in the game seems kind of interesting to me. Definitely Street Kid or Corporate. Street Kid because I kind of want to see the street life of Cyberpunk 2077. Corporate feels like you're just gonna be all day in the skyline. Thanks, Twisted. Yeah. Um, I hope this drone comes out good. Guys, remember this is just a live version, so I will have an in-depth version of this that's going to be pre-recorded. Um, but you could follow along live with me and see how I put this drone together. Also, I also wanted a new graphics card so that I can play Cyberpunk 2077, but um, everybody knows how that goes with the new graphics card, the 30 series. It's next to impossible to get one of those cards. And I actually sold my old GTX 1080 because I thought I literally thought I was going to be able to get a 3080. So I ended up buying a cheap 2080 just so I have something so I can play CyberPunk 2077 when it comes out next month. And it's supposed to have ray tracing, so I need a card that could produce ray tracing. See, right now I'm doing fine details, which I shouldn't be doing. Like, when you're at the first stage of inking, you shouldn't focus too much on details. Like, get the bigger picture first, and then go to details afterwards. But since I'm over here in this particular area, I just have to put the details in, even though I shouldn't. Because once you get the bigger picture of how it's going to look, then you could go into smaller details. Because you don't want to focus on one little area and then you make a mistake and you look at the big picture, you're like, oh man, I made a mistake. So that's why it's not a good idea to zoom in your focus on one little area. But at the same time, you don't want to focus on the bigger picture but then forget the smaller details. Okay, so now this is pretty tricky right here. This looks like a brace. The funny thing about doing this, I know everything there is about, well, not everything, but I know a lot about the human anatomy when drawing that. But in terms of cars, I don't have too much practice drawing cars. So, but like I was telling you guys from before, is if you could draw simple shapes, you can pretty much draw anything that you put your mind to. So this is just a cube. When it's all and done, it's going to look complicated, but when you break it down, it literally is just a cube. That's all it is. If you know how to draw shapes in perspective, you could draw anything that you put your mind to, or anything that you see. Whatever you're drawing from imagination, or just, looking at something from reference. So now I'm just getting the top of that. See, I made a little mistake right there. I kind of tapered off a little bit too much with this side, but that's okay. Mistakes all the time. No matter how much you do it, sometimes it's not as easy drawing straight lines. And I just made a mistake right there. The left side of this particular shape, it's a little bit too thin, but that's okay. Again, because it's not the biggest picture. It's not the big picture of the drawing. You'll see what I mean by that. Like, Like if you look at some artists, especially when it comes to like cyberpunk concept art, it's usually very messy and not that neat, if that makes sense. And my style is kind of like a combination of messy but neat at the same time. If that makes sense. I don't think it makes sense. Nope, it doesn't make sense. All right, let me just get the big picture. So, let me get the under of the chassis. Make sure I get the outline. Another thing when it comes to drawing like mechanical things, sometimes you don't even have to know exactly what you're drawing. You can just wing it. You can just create shapes, layer them on top of each other, and boom, you have something that looks cool. As long as it looks right, you know, you don't have to know every part of the car. Like, yes, this is the carburetor. This is where the oil goes. You don't even need to know all of that. If you can put shapes together, that's all you really need to know. So I'm going to do something right now, guys. I'm going to tilt the camera in such a way so that you guys can see a lot better. Or should I leave it like this? Let me know in the comments if you feel like you need a different angle. So I'm trying my best not to draw in the way so you can see how I'm doing this. It's a small drawing, so it's well, it's not that small, but the sketch pad is pretty small, so it's not the best when it comes to real estate. I think we can change the music now. I will have the full video of this with explanation up tomorrow. Making sure that I get this shape right. If you want to know, I'm using a Micron 01, which you use for detail. Right now I'm drawing the scoops, the air intake of the side panel. Something like that. Just like that. See, that is the air intake. So the airflow is going to go in here. Now I'm drawing the inner part of this door. Since it's a door, I gotta make sure that there's parallel lines right between each other. Let me zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about. Zooming in, zooming in, zooming in, zooming in, zooming in, zooming in. Okay. Move this up a little bit. If you look here, there's two parallel lines right next to each other. This is going to give the illusion that there's depth within that door, that you can lift it open, you know, because if it was just a line, it will look flat. If it was just one parallel line that's vertical, one parallel line that's vertical, it will look flat, the door. So there's two lines together to give it that illusion that you can open the door, if that makes sense. And that goes with a lot of objects when you're drawing, you know. So, all right, so I'm gonna zoom back out. Right, twisted. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. The same thing with the inner part of the where the glass glow goes. So far, I only seen about, I think there's 6 gangs in the game, and I only seen about 3 cars, I think. So I'm curious what all the other cars look. I know when you go to the outskirts, when you become a nomad, these are one of the cars that you see in the outskirts, like the outback of the world of Cyberpunk. But there's also I forgot what the Asian gang is called. I know there's the Voodoo Boys, the Monsters, I believe is one is called the Monsters. There's the Voodoo Boys, the Monsters. I think one is called the Triads. But I'm curious to know the other designs of the cars. I was planning on drawing the motorcycle, but I don't know. It's been a long time since I drew a car. It's been even longer since I drew a motorcycle. So I went with the car. So right now I'm just drawing like the antennas, some minor details. The only thing, like, since this is not an organic shape, you could get away with it not looking like 100% like a car is supposed to look like. But the thing about drawing cars is that, or anything that's mechanical, you just have to make sure that your lines are as parallel as you can, or perpendicular, and that's the hardest part. Like, you see how it's kind of bent right here, you know, because when it's mechanical, things are not usually curved, if that makes sense. Like when you draw a human body, things curves and bend, looks more organic. So when you draw mechanical, things gotta look straight, you know, else it will look wonky. Unless that's the look you're going for. Like if you're drawing like concept art for like a movie or something like that, and the characters in that particular movie, they have like organic looking vehicles or something like that, then I can understand, you know. So even with this drawing, I feel like I probably could have made it more better in terms of making it look more mechanical. Now I saw a picture of this concept, and the car has like a weird cylinder circle on the top of it, but I'm not sure exactly what it is or what it is for. But I just drew it anyway. I don't think it looks right with their circle, but since it has it in the official concept art, I thought I'd put that in there. So now this is starting to come together. Again, the panel of the door has like these horizontal lines, but since it's mostly done through shading, I'm not gonna continue. I'm not gonna commit to that line. As you can see, if I zoom in, I draw a line, and then there's a space in between here. I'm gonna let the viewer continue that line. The viewer's eye is gonna automatically finish this line for me, you know. And then when I add the shading, it's gonna make it look even more. I don't. How can I say it? When I shade it, it's gonna even finish that line for me, you know. So not everything has to be completed in terms of the line, especially when it comes to lighting. Like if you're gonna look at the concept art, you're gonna see that there's gonna be a light source in between here. So that light source is gonna also fill in that line break that I have there. So that's why I don't continue that line going straight across. Now, when it comes to this skull, which is sort of like a decal that's on the cars, like that represents the gang. There's so many ways that I could tackle this. I can make it look like a sticker if I draw an outline around it and then fill it in with a color. That seems like the safest way to do it. Or I can just try to mimic exactly how it looks in the game, which it doesn't have an outline. It's just a filled color. But that might work in the game, but like doing it as like a concept art, especially with pen and paper, is going to be hard to achieve that look. So I technically have to do it like make it look like a sticker instead of like a sticker decal, instead of like the filled shape that you see in the actual concept art. So this particular skull, I got to draw like an outline like that. Twisted, yeah, it definitely looks like a Mad Max car. That's the one thing I forgot. When I said post-apocalyptic, I was thinking of Mad Max. Definitely was. Now this decal, I gotta be careful that since it goes on the top surface of this particular car, so I gotta make sure I change the direction to show that it's now on a flat surface, a different plane, not a flat surface. So something like that. There's like little circles here. Alright. And then I have to go over this again, maybe, like, again, so. And even with this, I don't even have to finish the line. Now I could do two things. I can either fill it with a black color, and that will give the sticker look. Let me zoom in. Fill it with a black color, or this could just be black, like that. Something like that. Something like that. Yeah, I know. Twisted, you're right. But I kind of wanted it to look like a sticker when I fill it in with a color, because I had two choices. I was gonna either make it one color, but that's very tricky to do without the outline to make it look right. So that's why I decided with the sticker look. So I'm gonna fill this in with color, and then create the outer black. I'm gonna fill the outline with black. It's very hard to just have a filled color without an outline, and make it look right. Because I did it several times, but I felt like taking the easy way out and just make it look like a sticker. Because I did other drawings where I'm sitting here talking and messing up. I did other drawings where I made it look like a filled color, and that's how it looks like in the game. But since this is a drawing, I'm like, you know what? Make it easier on myself. Again, here comes these parallel lines to show depth. I don't even know what this piece is, but it sort of encases the back. Just like that. Guys, if you just joined me, I am drawing the CyberPunk 2077. One of the I don't know what it's called, but the Badlands, the Nomad cars that you see in the game. Kind of messed up on this wheel, but we'll fix that just by going just making it a style. So if you look closely, if you look over here, this particular wheel at the bottom, I messed up on creating that perfect circle. So what I did was, since the oval, showing the shape of the oval, you could actually draw more than one line. So since I messed up on making it connecting this line going straight across, I drew several lines so that it's part of the style, like a sketch like that. So I just fixed the mistake just by adding style to it. So that's like a pro tip right there. Couldn't finish that line going straight across to make it straight, and just created multiple lines to create that depth, and it sort of works, like couldn't connect the line perfectly, and then drew multiple lines to show like a style, but at the same time fixing the line that I tried to connect earlier. Pro tip. Let me zoom back out. So now I'm gonna do the outer parts of this tire. The tire tread. Okay. And then you don't see it when it goes around that way. So the tape is off. If that makes sense. Alright, so then now here I'm just going to sort of give an indentation that this thing is round. I'm not going to complete all of the lines, but I'm just going to go like this. Just like that. Connected on this side. Just like that. So now we're almost done with the outline. About 80% done. The basic outline. Now, the hardest part is going to be the coloring. But the good thing about this particular car is only like one color or two colors. And it's light gray, so it's really hard to mess up a black gray. But it depends on the style that you want it to look like, and that's where I'm trying to decide how I want it to look. I can make it look very monochrome, like a lot of concept art, or very colorful. I'm kind of leaning towards monochrome. This is what I was talking about with the lines. Sort of messed up right there, but now I'm not going to commit to that line. You have it drawn every day, you will make mistakes. Especially if you haven't drawn like straight lines in a long time. Just sort of like that. What I can do is to make my life easier is rotate this. Never be afraid to just rotate if something is not currently looking right, or something is harder to draw. So now this is a lot easier for me at this particular angle. Fix that so you guys can see what I'm doing. I don't mean to go off camera. So sort of like that. Move this over some so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Just like that. And then now I'm just drawing the spoiler, and it's sort of like this oval. The radius at the corners are like rounded, just like that. So just fixing some of these lines over here. Okay, so now we have got the basic outline done. So now I'm just going in and not gonna put too much extra detail in yet because I gotta put the color in. Which I'm not even sure how the color is gonna look, because for one, this particular this car is like one gray color, and I don't know how dark I want it to be. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna test it out. I'm just gonna test out before I even put it on the paper. I'm gonna test it out on another piece of paper and figure out how dark I'm gonna make this. See, now with these, the inner spokes inside of here, they're sort of like very symmetrical, so I'm gonna change it because how I have it here, I don't like the way it looks. So I'm just gonna do this. Try my best. Look at that. I already made it. Like if I wanted to be really picky, I could go in here and make sure that each space is equal and all of that, but you know, don't have time for that. As you can see, the top one is not as equal as the bottom ones, but it's okay. It's alright. some depth right there inside of the inner tire. Yeah, twisted. I hope it looks cool. Hopefully it does. Alright. So now I think I have the basic outline done. I think. Not 100% sure. Just double checking right now. I can see that this piece kind of goes out like that. Sort of like that. Some small little details, but I'm not going to focus on that right now. I'm just going to finish up this shape and then start erasing. I think I covered every area that I wanted to cover. No, actually I'm missing the inner part of this glass. It's like another inner part. Kind of messed up there, but that's okay. This glass has an inner part. You see what I mean by parallel lines right here? It's not parallel, it starts to look funny. That is the trickiest part. Alright, so now some more, just a little bit more up here. Some more letters right here. Alright. So now I think alright, I think that's good. No more. Not gonna add any more. Some of the plane up here. Okay. So now I'm gonna erase. Before you add color, you erase. But the only thing is, one thing I love about the pencil is that the pencils sort of give it depth around certain areas. You're gonna see once I erase, it's gonna start to look flat again. And you know, sometimes you can actually leave the pencil on there and then draw paint on top of it. But sometimes the pencil doesn't look right unless that's the style you're going for. But once I erase, it's going to look more flat because a lot of the rendering of the pencil is going to be gone, and it's just going to be an outline, a skeleton. You know, so yeah. Alright, just give me a second. Let's change this music since we're going on to another part of the drawing. I need an eraser. Now I'm going to use this Estaditurler. I don't know how to pronounce that eraser, but yeah, I'm going to use this eraser. Oh my god. This is what I was, see now, this is what happens when, I know y'all saw that. This happens when I was trying to clean it and it still wasn't enough. Like if you have like, this is why I missed my needed eraser. Hold on, let me see if I have one. So tight that this eraser is so dirty. when I try to clean it. I just had a big boo-boo accident just now. I think I might have needed an eraser. So I'm gonna try to pick away at this and use. What I'm doing is just picking away the smudge parts, and I'm gonna try to fix this. There you go. Doesn't look like I can save the top part. It's gonna be forever be smudged at the top. And the other thing is too, with using this eraser, it picks up the ink, so a lot of the lines is gonna be a lot lighter. So it doesn't matter because I always go over my lines, the dark areas that needs to be going, the areas that needs to be gone over again. So it's okay if it picks up, but it's good to keep that in mind when you're doing your outlines. Because depending on the drawing, like right here, I didn't finish this. There you go. So that's finished, and I didn't finish this either. The other thing about racing too, you also catch areas that you didn't finish. Okay. Cannot get this smudge out. It's gonna be forever be there. But you know what? I just remembered. This doesn't matter because the skulls is like an aqua blue. So that's gonna be painted over anyway. So you don't have to I don't really have to worry about that. And that's it. That looks good enough. Now from here, now I start the basic coloring. And if you look at the concept art for this particular CyberPunk car, it's like a black, but it's not pitch black. It's sort of like a grayish, dark grayish, aqua green, orange. So, since it's a really dark color, and I'm not exactly sure how dark I'm going to want it, how dark I'm going to make this particular drawing, I'm going to start really light, and like a lot of my drawings, I get really dark, and since I don't want to mess up and just trying to figure out how dark I want it to be, I'm going to use a practice paper first. So I'm going to use this piece of paper first, and I'm going to practice the coloring with the paper. So today I will use these Copics. So I have a 12 color Copic Classic. This is not the brush, sadly. It will be a lot easier with the brush to blend this together. I don't have gray in all brush colors, so since I'm scared of this drawing, I'm going to start really light at a C1. Yep, I am definitely scared of this drawing because I don't think it's going to come out that good. Literally almost everything, all the major pieces are gray. And the light source from all the concept art that I'm looking at, the light source I can't really, it's coming from the top. So if you've been following any of my videos, if the light is coming from the top, it's gonna be from dark to light like that. But I don't think that's gonna look particularly right in this drawing, so I don't know. So I'm gonna start. I think I'm gonna start with the side panel. So I'm gonna rotate this. I'm gonna look at this. Alright, let me see. I'm just gonna test out how dark this is gonna be and how light. Alright, so this little dot right here, that's gonna be past 1. These two colors, C1 and C2. That's gonna be the base color. And I'm gonna get dark from there. So I'm gonna go in here. So all of this. I wish I had a brush. This drawing scares me. And the thing is, with practice, you have to go fast so that this is not a brush, so I'm trying my best to not leave as much streaks as possible. So the faster you go, the less streaks you leave. So I'm just gradually going up as fast as I can. Fast as I can as I get to the point where the light meets, where I know there's going to be gradient. I leave that alone, and then I go again. Remember the outlines that I was telling you about that I didn't complete? This is where the shading comes in. It sort of finishes that outline. So the good thing is all of this is gray, so I don't have to worry about the color mashing with other colors. I know that all of this right here is gray. The question is how accurate I want to be with the lighting. So I'm going to make all of this gradient like that. About right there should do it. Same thing with this spoiler back here. One big gradient tone right there. Now under here, parts of this is gray. Just gonna fill that in. All of this is orange. This is actually gray right here. Alright, let me rotate this back. Same thing for these pieces right here, so I'm going to gradually go up. And I'm already running out of ink, which is crazy. That is crazy, I'm running out of ink. already. So I gotta go move faster. Now with these shadings, I'm just following the contour. Um, like since this is a vertical panel, I'm literally following the same direction of the panel. So I'm going up and down, and also paying attention to the light. Okay, the light is coming from the top, so I gotta go from bottom to up. I have to move a little bit faster now since I'm running out of ink. Alright, so all of this, the top of this panel, all of this is gray. But again, I gotta pay attention to what that light source is gonna be. So I'm gonna leave out spaces where I know highlights are gonna be. Leave out those spaces. Just like that. Alright, let me get a better angle so you guys can see better. Hopefully you can see. Trying to see where my hand is. Oh, if I run out of ink, I'm gonna have to use it. It's gonna have to. The overall drawing is gonna have to be darker. Cause I'm gonna have to start with a darker base or a darker second base, which is okay since the car is gray already. But I never thought this would run out of ink so fast. Following that light source. The thing is, I can use a bigger side like this, but the thing about this is I have less control. You see? I have like less control. That's why I love the brush so much, because it's like the brush, you get to fill out a big area while still keeping control. That's why I love the brush. So if you're gonna buy Copics, remember to, it's worth the extra money for the brush. But they didn't have this gray set in the brush one. It's like you gotta buy the whole $200 set to get these particular colors with the brush. But if you bought them small like this, like what I just bought here, it's going to be chisel tip and not the brush. Alright, so I almost have a base color down. I want to get these tires before the last of this ink. So all of this is going to be in shadow. So we're gonna have to worry about over here. Okay, so now here with the tires, I gotta be careful because the tires are oval, and then the light source is hitting the top of it. So I gotta gradually go up. Boy, oh boy, when you're running out of ink, man, it makes everything more difficult. So like that, and then it gets also dark around these corners. Live stream just stopped. Okay, what happened to my live stream? Am I back? Okay, I think I'm back. Okay. Ooh, that scared me. I thought my live stream was finished. Okay. So now this whole tire is gray, but I also want to make sure that I capture that light source. So I'm gonna color this whole thing in. All gonna make sense once I get darker. This is all shadow right there. All right. Supposedly this is the base, the first pass. I think I have a good. So wherever the light hits, I stop. That is good for now. Same thing with this bottle cap. Sort of gray. Right. Let me fix this angle a little bit. Alright. That's out of that angle. Now you see how long that took for just that pass? So now I'm gonna add the Aqua Green. First pass of the Aqua Green, and I'm hoping, praying that I have all the colors of green. I guess I can use that. That's a light enough green. But first, let me see how this mixes. See, now that's too strong. You see how those two greens don't mix? Like one shade is too darker than the other. Now if I try to render that together, it's gonna stand out a little bit too much. So you need something that's in between these two colors right here. So that's what I'm looking for. In between that color to get a smooth gradient. And I'm not sure if I have that. Look like I have 3 colors to choose from. Hopefully one of these greens is going to work. What about you? Nope, you're on the blue side. And sometimes this is what I do. I don't even pay attention to what the color is. I just like, okay, what matches? That doesn't go. What about this? Haha! Now you see that? That right there might work. That is in between those two colors. What about this one? Nope, that's too dark. You go over here. So now I found my scale of green. So now, so I don't put down the wrong color, I'm gonna test it one more time. Yes, that is the lightest green that I have. So now I'm gonna start with the rendering of the skull. Just to put this color. I mean, it's more like an aqua, but I'm making it green. F it. Mind you guys, this is the base color. I mean, well, I was gonna color it over and color over this much. So now I have that down. There's other parts that's green, so again, following with the lighting. You know, the lighting is coming from the top left, the top of the page, so something like that. So anywhere where I see green, outer portions of this tire is green, like that. Some of the lettering on our tires are green. Right now I'm just getting that base color down. Satin black. Yeah, you're right. Twisted. It's definitely a satin black. What kind of paper I'm using? I'm using marker paper. If you're still here, it's Twisted. I'm using marker paper. Sometimes I use the mixed media paper, but I mean, they're both good. The marker paper and mixed media paper, they both work pretty well, in my opinion. They both work pretty well. Oh crap, what the hell? Okay. Alright, so now I have my base green down. base green. Now I'm going to go over the gray again, with a darker gray. So now this process takes a while, as you can see. So now I'm just getting a little bit darker. You know, I'm going to start from the tires. The tires are really... with more, I have more markers that's running out of ink, which is wonderful. Way. Alright, go back around this. So we add a little bit of darkness there. You guys are probably getting tired of that, so let's get something else. Another track. Too much. Okay, I guess you guys can rock to that. Alright. Okay, this gets really dark under here. And then it's just gonna go up. I can't believe I'm running out of ink so much. This is crazy. Alright. I hope I have enough to finish this drawing because, gonna rotate this a little bit. I'm just gonna do the same thing I did earlier. Going really fast. And you can see it come together. Blending what I'm doing right here. Just to show that gradient. And do the same thing right here. This particular drawing is gonna need like. Yeah, the thing is, I could have started off even darker, but it'll be a lot faster to do it that way. But I wanted to control how dark I want it to be, so right now right now I'm just switching between two different colors. The desired look I want. same thing for this panel. Pay attention to where this lighting is at. Kind of messed up there, but it's okay. And it gets lighter, it gets darker here, around this corner. Something like that. I'm just darkening the base color. Another pro tip, you want to go fast to when you come to blending your colors, because it's like the longer it stays there, the faster it dries and the harder it is going to be to blend. Each Copic set or marker set you buy comes with a colorist blender. I don't know where I put my colorist blender, where you can blend in the color with a white ink. And I don't know where the colorist blender is. Can't find it. Is it one? Nope, that's a cool gray. Can't find my colors blender. So what I'm going to do is, I had a whole bunch of colors blenders. I don't know what it is. If you don't know what a colors blender is, it's like a white color that comes with every major marker set, and you use that white color to blend other colors in. And I can't find mine, so what I'm going to try to do is use a really light, cool gray and see what happens with that. No, this is too cool. Probably could use it. Let me see. Nope, it's a different color. So the blending is going to be a little bit harder to do without a colorist blender. So I'm going to have to blend it just by blending the two markers together. So I'm going to have to go fast. So this is me just going fast, and I'm going to have to switch back between these two. Switch. So now I'm blending them together. See that? So now it's more of a gradient right there. And I switch back, and then I'm gonna have to do the same thing for this panel right here. The top panel where this light meets this deco right here. This blending process is a lot easier with a brush. But I don't have a brush in these grays. Actually I do, but not with this particular brand. So then I go back in with a lighter color and I'm just blending it together so that it looks like a seamless gradient. That's how you get that. And you can hear the marker screaming for help because it's pretty much running out of ink. I didn't know I had this little gray. When the marker starts making that noise right there, that squeaky noise, that's when you know you're running out of ink. That means you're literally rubbing the brush on the paper like dry brush on the paper. Guys, if you're just joining me, I am drawing one of gangs, the gang cars that's in Cyberpunk 2077 that you see in the when you pick the Nomad class. You know what I'm gonna do with these glass mirrors? I'm gonna make them darker because they're darker in the game photo that I'm looking at. So now, same thing with this front panel here. Sort of like gray going up. This all will make more sense once I get even darker. I can't really produce that satin black unless I added a brown, and I'm not gonna. That's just too complicated right now. So I'm gonna stick to gray, a black gray for the car. It's actually like a satin black. So I'm not going to make it too complicated with the coloring. Because I'm not even sure how this is going to come out. Some of this I'm rushing now, but some of this in here is actually green. So go back in here and add some green. I just want to fill in the basic color. Alright, that is going to be green. Same thing with these panels. I seem to neglect these panels back here. Not that. Alright. Go back in and try to blend this up some more. Okay, we're sort of getting the basic color down. Alright, so now I'm gonna add some more secondary color, which they actually have a orange. So now I'm just checking my Copics. I have the 120 set, but this is pretty old. So now they have orange, and I'm trying to see which orange do I have, and which is the lightest and which is the darkest orange. Sometimes if you want like really gradient, really rendered looking artwork, you're gonna want to have more than 2 colors. You're gonna need at least 3, sometimes even 4, you know. Cambridge, thank you for joining. Yeah, I can't wait for the game also, Cambridge. Alright, so now I'm going to test out these orange colors, see if I get the lightest one. That is way too dark. Okay, so these two are good. I can one second, guys. This is when it's live here. This is the darkest, lighter. I don't know if I can use this peach. Do I have orange that I can use. Where is this orange? This is even darker. So you know what? With this particular orange, I'm going to start really dark. Just not make it just dark. Alright. Alright, so same principles. Start really dark here. Really light actually. I'm just going to paint up. Highlight this. I'm just going to leave that the way it is. Another pro tip, you can actually get darker color just by going over the same ink after it dries, the same colors. So I can actually make this darker just by going over it again. So I'm going to come back to this, let it dry, and just go to another area. Like a decal. I'm just going to all right. This is also orange. So now I'm just going to go over it again. And it doesn't have to be neat because all of this is going to be going over with shadow anyway. Just like that. Same thing with over here. Go over it again. This process is very tedious, but the more time you spend on it, the better it's gonna look. So now this is where I get a little bit darker while it's still wet. I might even go back in, blend in that a little bit more. It gets even darker now. Just like that. All right, that is not done. That is the the basic color of that orange that I want to get in there. So now I'm gonna focus on this gray. Like the gray is the main part, and that's what I gotta get down. So now I'm gonna get even braver, get even darker. I think the darkest gray, I think just by looking at the car, is looking like a 5 and a 6 cool gray. How dark it's gonna be. Hello, Cambridge. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. If you just now joining, the title says what I'm doing. It's the CyberPunk 2077, and it's one of the Nomad cars that you see in the game. See, I think this gray is a little bit. I should start with a 4. I should work my way up. 5 is too dark. So I'm gonna start with a 4 first. Wow, 4 is really dark. Because I want to make sure that this is not too dark. Is that 3? Now I'm going over again. This drone is going to have several passes until I feel like the shadow looks correct, or the overall value of the car looks correct. Thing about rendering, it takes a very long time to get the desired look that you're looking for. Go back in here. But I'm starting to move a little bit faster. It's like I don't want to rush, but at the same time I don't want to be here all day. I haven't eaten breakfast, and I don't want to keep you guys. But I will have this sped up version of this particular drawing for you guys up tomorrow or the day after, whenever I get the editing done. The editing is going to be a big process to edit it. Same principle, just going really fast. Fillings. Right there should do it. Once I get that is a 3. Just jumping back between these. On I'm doing is blending it together. Alright. So now the tricky part again. Rotate this a little bit. So we finish this panel. There's 3. Don't want it to meet. I'll stop right there. Go back in. You see how it did that? Since the marker is wet, I go back in, and when it's wet you can push around the color a lot easier. Pro tip, pro tip. I think I'll do the same for this. So right there. About right there should do it. On this edge. Right there should do it. This should do it. If you're still here, thank you for sticking around. I will have the edited version up either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I know this live stream is pretty long. I probably won't, because this is a really long drawing, I probably won't get to finish everything in this particular live stream. It's already been going on 2 hours now, so yeah, I'm happy that there were some people, that stayed around. I appreciate it. I should go live more often. Show you guys the process. I appreciate everybody who sticks around. Probably won't have the finished drawing here, but I'm gonna try to get as much done before I end the stream. I'm gonna get as much as I can done before I end the stream. And then you will have the edited finished version tomorrow or the day after. Oh my god, the sad music. Alright, so now I'm gonna do over here. Should be good. This beat right here sounds like a Sonic beat to me, like an old Genesis beat. Alright, so now we got that. This definitely sounds like a Sonic beat. Oh, Streets of Rage. Alright. Sorry about that. Alright, so I'm just going to do inside of here. Okay, now so much gray for this particular drawing. Like, am I going to have any gray left? That is the question. How much gray I'm using? Whole gray at that. That is done. I just want to get the base gray done. Once I get the base gray done, you guys will see the rest tomorrow. This sounds so much like Sonic the Hedgehog. Streets of Rage. Both of which is one of my favorite franchises of all time. Sounds very Genesis. Alright, it is starting to come together. Starting to come together. I don't know how dark I'm gonna make this, but alright. Okay, so now that this is I think this car is gonna need one more pass to be a little bit darker. It's still too light. The car in the game is not light gray. But I just wanted to get. This is how long you're seeing how long it takes to put down the base color. All of this is just the base color. That's you've seen how long it takes to put down that. All of this is just the base color. Yep, all of this is just the base color. So tomorrow, when I have more energy, I'm gonna go back in and finish this base color up. And I will have the edited version of this video for you guys, so you'll be able to see it, the completed version. Alright, just go in here, get a little bit of I'm not going to do this just yet. Shouldn't do this yet because I don't have the green in there, the base green. But I'm going to do this anyway. Alright, I think this is good for now. I will have the completed version for you guys in the edited version of this drawing, so don't fret. The completed version will be up either tomorrow or the day after. One of those days, either Monday or Tuesday, the finished version of this drawing is going up for you guys, so don't worry. I will have it completed. I just want to say thank you for joining me. I appreciate every person who joined me on my live streams. It's really, really appreciated. And I look forward to having more for you guys. Again, look out tomorrow or the day after. But definitely by Tuesday, I should have the finished, completed version, edited version with my thoughts and about CyberPunk and the design of the cars and some of the other characters that's in the game. I'll probably do more CyberPunk drawing leading up to the launch of the game. If you want to see more CyberPunk stuff, I actually have an older drawing of CyberPunk that I did on the channel a year ago, maybe more than a year ago that I did. It's a pretty old drawing that I did, and this is the first CyberPunk drawing I did in a long time. So I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I will have more, and you guys have a good night, and I'll check you guys and girls later. Midori out. Dun, 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 dun.